now people from San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, and Mariana Cabriona from they're watching us. See. And I want to welcome everyone to tonight's reading heights. And I'm so happy that you're all here. Those of you, my family, students, we're so happy you could come to this lab for this season, for the biennium from my being point laureate of this would be my last workshop. And I can go visit this later on. I plan to visit this. But as far as workshops, probably not this one. So welcome all, and welcome the people that are watching from out of town. We're very happy you can, and we hope you can enjoy this. This is a very, very special workshop. You want people and please something to drink. So it can be to take a whole hour of poetry. But this is so important to me because at Cigarroa High School, I spent 20 years writing poems. And these are the result of 20 years of writing poetry. Look, it's over 300 pages that I have here of poems written by my students. Here's some of the students from that to come, my students. From Martin, when I was there and from but Cigarroa right is one Mexican food. How we start. Calaveras are poems for the living, like I said, during the Day of the Dead. So even today in today's paper, thank you to Malena Charut for writing a beautiful article about the Calaveras. But she said the poems might be for the living or the dead. No, Malena. The Calaveras are always for the living. The dead, we respect them. These are satirical, funny, but we are not going to make fun of the dead. No. We remember our dead, but it's the funny Calaveras that we have here. And these came about more or less in the, now my clicker isn't working. Technical difficulties. Roxanne is my #1 helper here at the library. I couldn't do anything without Roxanne. Please give a big round of applause for Roxanne. She's our research librarian here. Chaparrita de oro, I told her. It was working, now it's not working. It was working. I'm sorry for the technical difficulty. 15. My goodness gracious. Yes, it was working. Okay. There, okay. Ay, se me fue el otro. Oh, okay. No, but I need Don Porfirio. It was actually during these times, Don Porfirio was a dictator of Mexico, un no dictador, pero dictablando, decía mi hermano en paz descanse, because it was a dictatorship only because he was in power 30 years. But, you know, there was a lot of division of classes, the polarization of classes, the high class, you can see with the big hats and the frocks, and the poor class and very little middle class. So this polarization drew a lot of criticism from the people. And they started writing first. They started drawing calaveras. And the drawing we see here is by Guadalupe Posada, La Catrina. He called it La Garbancera. And he started drawing those, saying, well, you know, there might be rich and we might be so poor, but at the end, we're all going the same way. We're going to die one day, eventually. So he did this, and then where he printed, they were very, very famous, and they started selling them for 1 penny back then. Un centavito mexicano, 5 centavitos, the drawings. And then in the press, he started also doing little poems to go with it. And La Garbancera, later we see here Diego Rivera, behind him, Frida Kahlo. He made that Garbancera, he called her La Catrina, porque era muy elegante. And you see La Catrina next to Jose Guadalupe Posada. That's the original artist that drew La Catrina for the first time. And these are the verses that would go with La Garbancera. Hay hermosas garbanceras de corsé y alto tacón, pero han de ser calaveras, calaveras del montón. And they would call them garbanceras because instead of doing frijoles, they would plant garbanzos because the Spanish had garbanzos. So they wanted to be high class. But if you notice, the Catrina always has the bows, los moñitos de las trenzas. So es una indígena, pero con el plumaje de las Catrinas. So that's a story of, ay Dios mío, of La Catrina. Again, it doesn't work. Okay, too many. Roxanne, help again. Technical difficulties, height. Ay, ay, ay. It says I have too many things open. Maybe that one. Okay. There. Okay. So the drawings by Posada continued, and here we see a very elegant gentleman dressed as a calavera, because there's where we are all going, and that was the purpose of the drawings. We're all going to die one day, and the calavera Don Juan Tenorio, the most famous calavera can also mean calavera con las mujeres, ¿no? Muy sinvergüenza era. Don Juan Tenorio es una calavera, también se le decía así a Don Juan Tenorio. Y acuérdense, Don Juan Tenorio is usually portrayed November 1st, because if you know the play of Don Juan Tenorio, he kills somebody and then they come out from the dead, and it's a whole scene about dead people. So Don Juan Tenorio is usually Day of the Dead also, in case you didn't know. Again, then Calaveras del Montón came out in verse form, lots of verses for Calaveras del Montón. And these were popular, again, making fun of how we're all going to die. You know, so sooner or later, you're going to die. And they started making fun. They couldn't use the newspaper to make fun, or they couldn't use to protest. It's a form of protest, you know, a forma de protesta against what's going on in the social protest, if you will. Okay, so we're very famous, 1910, and the revolution. Then they continued to be famous in the 30s, 40s. I was a little girl in the 50s and 60s. I was in school. I'm dating myself, but it's okay. In the 60s, I used to read it in the newspaper a lot. El Mañana, El Diario would publish, and even in Laredo, Texas, they would publish calaveras. Then by the time I was a Spanish teacher, I didn't see them anymore. So one day, and when I was at Cigarroa, I said, why don't we see, oh, this is another Gran Baile de Calaveras. Why don't we see calaveras anymore? So we were giving the time. This one alone. I don't know, star. But it was giving the and so I started writing calaveras for my friends. Alfredo Montemayor, Esther rest in peace. Adalberto Jaime, Estela Kramer, Pedro Lara, Roberto Botello. So let me do one because I haven't, and I did them out of boredom. And so, and then I got on the PA and I told them that during Halloween, instead of Day of the Dead, we were having a celebration of Halloween, everybody was dressed up. So I started like this. Adalberto Jimenez. Somebody was coming from Sinaloa the first year. We had a big freeze, and then the pipes were on top, so they froze, and then the school was all flooded. Mr. Jaime was in charge of. So, a nuestro amigo Adalberto le mandaron llamar un día que del J300 había roto la tubería. ¡Qué tragedia! ¡Qué y el señor Jaime que había mejor se cayó al instante y dijo, these are the Laredo-Calaveras. These are not, social protests or anything you can. And later my kids told us. But estos vecinos, aunque vinieron con una tal invitación de visera del presidente, que le llevaron al panteón. Así se fue este barrio por todo el mundo. Anda buscando angelitos de su vida. Discursos no angelitos gringos, habló angelitos americanos. Y se los palabró también que a todos volvió republicano. If you remember, she was a big, strong Republican. I would always give her an elephant for Christmas, different kinds of elephants. So this is how we started, and that that's 1983, 84, and 85. One of my students, very, very advanced students, wrote for Mark White and all of them. 1984 and 1985, it was just, I don't have it here. Oh, Mark White. Or I don't know what happened. Cuando daba conferencias, cuentos y de leyendas de España, cuando se leía la Luciana, Guajardo era de apellido este señor Jesús, que sabía de tan aullido que en la ley. Hasta que no existió con la muerte buscando, pero Luciano Guajardo. Ahora se cayó Chávez, de Juárez, fantasmas desaparecidos por. If you remember, she would always go to our school to tell us about the fantasmas and things like that. Okay, so I hope you're enjoying. Where's my clicker? My clicker. So that's Don Luciano Guajardo, and they were published in. This was before Laredo Times. There was another one. ¿Cómo se llamaba? Laredo News. The Laredo News, and they were published in Laredo News. Okay. And Calaveras, again, our poems are about the living persons. They're funny and or sarcastic, sort of like a modern day roast. Calaveras satirize death to remind us that no matter how rich, powerful, poor, beautiful, or miserable, we all have the same destiny. Nobody will get out of this alive. Thus, death is a great equalizer. And that's why we do Calaveras, to celebrate. The historical background is the social inequalities that I already told you in the early 1900s. And the famous Posada began drawing calaveras. He called it La Garbancera. Then Diego Rivera called it La Catrina. And La Catrina was very elegant. And La Catrina nowadays, you see a lot of girls painted as La Catrina. That was not in 2007. I left Cigarroa 2007. We would have been like that too, right, Liliana and Gabriela? We would have painted our faces. But this is new, like 2010 to this day, and a lot of I love that. I love our culture, Mexican culture. Why do we do that? Why do we make fun of death like that? Because we Mexicans see death as an integral part of life. Contrary to Halloween, where death is seen as macabre and something to be afraid of, we see death and the day of the day as another celebration, another time to have fun and a fiesta. We visit cemeteries, take flowers, take food to share with our loved ones, and make a picnic. We also build altares or ofrendas to honor our dead relatives and friends. And you remember Coco, the famous movie by Walt Disney? And the song is Remember Me, because as long as we remember our loved ones, they live. And that's very, very important in our culture. It's part of indigenous culture. As long as we remember them, they live in our hearts. And we write calaveras to have fun and to celebrate that we are going to die some. So it's just to have fun. And as my students, you have a lot of kids of my former students. I like to have fun in class. I didn't like to be bored. The teams, I don't like to be sitting down doing nothing, you know. And I like to have fun and promote the culture and, you know, I would take the kids everywhere to say their calaveras everywhere I could, you know. And the friendly calaveras that's all you've heard, poke fun at our friends and their quirks. The satirical calaveras make fun of the politicians. We have some that were, you know, very satirical. The public figures, the reality stars, etc. And they mock their behavior in very different ways. There are also calaveras written about social issues, such as social injustice, immigration, women's rights, ethics, climate change, border wall, clean water, the river, etc. And the reason I bolded immigration, border wall, because these are calaveras fronterizas, and I wish we can write about something that's happening right now in the border. So as I'm reading them, you have little journals that I gave you. I also, one of the tips I give to write poetry is to always have a journal and write what moves you, what you like about the poems. Of course, in 1 hour, you know, it's very hard. My kids took a week, would take a whole week. And before that week started, I would say your tarea, your homework is going to be, what's the homework for this weekend? Listen to Los Tigres del Norte, because Los Tigres del Norte have the exact rhythm and rhyme that I want you to follow. Versos octosílabos con rimas pareadas. Ay, ¿qué es eso? Versos octosílabos. Pues no, nada más escuchen a los Tigres del Norte, you'll get it. Or any corrido or any romance, they'll give you versos octosílabos con rima pareada. Okay, and you don't have to remember what it is. So that was part of my teaching. So now we go to when we started, 1986, 87, we started full time, the whole week, getting them, remember teachers that are teachers in groups, they would have to write 3 one, because if I did, they would all have their friends. And who, friends, relatives, then about a teacher, and then about a famous person. Bring them to me, and we would workshop them, you know, but say them in class and then in groups, and some of my students were excellent, and some were not so good, but with the help of the other students, they would all come out with 2 or 3, and we would publish the ones that would get A's or B's. You know, some of them didn't make it. But still, I have all this. So I guess a lot of them did make it. Okay. And here, the first one, it's only, that's the way it came out. It doesn't give you the but listen to this one. It's about and this is Claudia Lozano and other Lozano. Ya se nos fue Don Alfredo, ya se fue el toro mayor, la muerte se llevó a otro sitio mejor. Hombre recio y de carácter, incansable, la escuela con trabajo, admirado, de todos y apreciado, muy buen administrador. Hizo que fuera su escuela de Laredo la mejor. Acá en el sur de Laredo lloran con desolación 3 puntos y Santo Niño, también el barrio Chacón. Fíjense, sí, hermosa, gracias. She was excellent. Her mother would also help us. Her mother published with us. You know, of course, we can't find all of them in this, but her mother also published with us. And now then for next slide, I'm going to read one of that she wrote for me. Oh, I have so many. Let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna read it from the board. Okay, I'll read it from the board. But to write a calavera, I would tell them it's like a cartoon. You have to take the most obvious traits of a person, and of course, if you see me, most obvious traits is my blonde hair, plus I'm short a little bit. No vamos a decir, no más. Llenita. Okay, and so what do? So I have to read it from the board. I'm sorry for the ones that are watching me, but I have to go, oh, I can read it from here, what I'm talking about. Okay, ay, pero no la puedo ver bien. Dice, Rosa María de Llano, por Claudia Lozano. Por güera y por coquetona, se la llevó la pelona. En la escuela. Ella es la que ya es historia. I would always come back. I love historical novelas. And Celia de Gloria was going right now. It was about the Mexican independence, and then one about the Mexican Revolution or something. No, Victoria. She dedicated that to me, and that was so to the point, you know? So this is, if you like, you notice, versos octosílabos con rima variada, probably not, but this is what we're having here. Rima tras, no. Okay, las calaveras toreras, one, either las calaveras. These were published every year in the Laredo Times. These two are from November 1990. Let me see, November 1990. Oh. I'm gonna have to read it from there, maybe from here. This one, if you remember, back in 1990, Clayton Williams was running for governor. He was a governor for the state of Texas. And he said something like this about rape. Said, if you are getting raped, women, just settle down and enjoy it. That's what he said. Don't believe me. I used to tell this, don't believe any word I say. Now you can Google it. I'd say research it. Now you can Google it. What did Clayton Williams say about rape? Just relax and enjoy it. Okay. So this kid who was only 15 back then, wrote something. That's so many. Okay. Estaba Clayton Williams burlándose de la mujer, ya que decía que violar era fácil de comprender. Mientras él se burlaba, se le apareció la flaca, quien le dijo, ay, viejito, me gustas por narizón y burlador. Quiero que mis huesitos me hagas pedacitos y así juntitos disfrutar de los placeres del amor. Se oía a Williams que gritaba de dolor. Quítenmela de encima, por favor. Hoy comprende que ser violado no es motivo de disfrutar, pues la calaca se lo agasajó y a él nada. Yo no sabía que agasajar. Ya se imagina. Pero, isn't this wonderful? And she wrote it, and then some of the teachers, Rosalinda Rosana was supposed to come, but she's not there. Some of the teachers, I wish I could write this. I wish. I mean, the kids were so inventive and so, I would have never written anything like this. ni se me hubiera ocurrido. Well, maybe yes, but they were incredible. And I can tell you, you know, the ones that are here were incredible. They would surprise me every time. So, and up there, también, it's one by John Snyder. And the teachers would always also publish calaveras for me. You know, Mr. Jacinto. John Snyder, I don't know. I haven't seen him in a long time, but he would also write calaveras for us. I mean, everybody would get into the calaveras. And this calavera by Judy Warworski, this I have here. This is 1991. And again, I would have them in groups, and Judy Warworski, Mr. Warworski, remember, and you know, and so she was, so everybody has this is for you, so everybody has to win. So Judy Warworski wrote this, and I went to this, yo me estoy quebrando la cabeza. Las palabras no salen de mí. Abre la mente, dice, deja que salgan palabras de tu mano. Escribe, escribe, escribe más. Tienes que sentir, no solamente pensar. Veo a otros escribir de la calaca, pero no puedo escribir de la loca flaca. Les hacen burla a la pobre gente, quienes hablan con la flaca y les dicen, vente. Yo cuando veo mi calavera, lo hice todo con la ayuda de esa bella güera. Calaveras no son diversión, solamente para mí calificación. Well, I invited her to come. She's married to Madison, my next door neighbor, pero yes, she has to. But yes, they had it was, and I'm doing like this because remember that's how I do the rhythm and the rhyme. That's how you get the rhythm. Yeah. And here's one for Clarence Thomas. Remember Clarence Thomas? Yeah, that Anita Hill and all that. Well, my kids didn't lose. Yeah, they knew what was going on. So this was, I'll read it. Está Thomas discutiendo en el juzgado. Cuando pasó la parte y se lo llevó al cajón. Todos lloraron mucho por lo que había pasado. Y hasta Anita Hill unas flores le ha mandado. That's funny, you know, but they take everything that's going on, and that's what we do. And 1992, for the first time, one of my students said, Ms. Dayano, can I write one in English? Yeah, and you know, like, yeah, this is my Spanish. And she's always telling, do not mix in the journal, remember your dialogue? Do not mix, write everything in Spanish, please, because you're in Spanish now. But I had taken, thank God, my master's back in 1980, and you know, and Spanglish is the regional dialect of the. I respect the dialect only in Spanish class. I didn't want it, you know, but I said, fun, it's satirical, why not? And I said, you want to write them in Spanish? This was Juan Carlos Peña. I don't know if anybody you that are here remember from 1992. But he was always sleeping, and, you know, sort of. I said, you want to write them? I mean, para que haga algo. You want to write them in Spanish? Write them. He was so good. He was so good that I decided, hey, Spanglish is the way to go now. So I hope we get Spanglish calaveras. Dice, this is Juan Carlos Peña. Estaba en mi casa y bam, bam, goes the door. Era la calaca. Are you home alone? Yo le dije, ¿sabes qué? Hoy no saldré contigo. Even if you threaten to poke my ombligo. La calaca respondió, you must come out with me because if you don't, te vas a arrepentir. I didn't pay attention to la mentirosa, and now I find myself encerrado en la cosa. And he wrote another one, I don't know the third one, if he wrote the third one. Quería que escribiera a song to take to her caracol. When I had finished writing, preguntó, ¿qué es esto? Y le dije, es English rap, porque en eso soy maestra. la llevó a su tumba porque she likes Spanglish. Y ella la leía con Don Chinola. Dijo a su mensajero, bring me that child, porque él escribe rap in Spanglish really wild. Y ahora ya va, and the best there is, escribiendo Spanglish rap that goes like this. And that's combining English and Spanish. Like he was exceptional. So you can write Spanglish rap if you want to for Calaveras and all this, so you can be inspired to write. And we'll listen to some of the young, well, not so young anymore, you know, my young students from 20 years ago. Pero todavía más chicos que yo, pues. So we got in 1997 for Calaveras Quinceañeras. We had started 1983, but ese cuenta, you know, 83, 84, 85. So 97 were Calaveras Quinceañeras. And I think you were the editor, right? Ileana Hinojosa right here with me. It was the editor. Ileana Hinojosa is now bilingual direct supervisor with LISD. And she was the editor for Calaveras Quinceañeras. And she wrote me a very nice piece saying that she wanted to, quiero felicitarla por los 15 años, etcétera, etcétera. And I wrote Calaveras, ya el tiempo ha llegado. So this one I wrote because if you teach them, pues you have to know how to write them, you know. So of course I les ponía la prueba yo. Let me read mine. Dice, ya el tiempo ha llegado de jugar con la muerte. Espero hoy lo hayan matado de un modo diferente. En la clase de español todos tratamos rimar. Si usted lo ha intentado, estos versos podrá apreciar. Espero que se divierta. Esa es nuestra intención. Por eso las calaveras nos dan tanta satisfacción. Okay? 8 syllables, versos pareados. Okay. And now, 1998, you remember Bill Clinton? Oh my God. We had so many about Bill Clinton. It would not go unnoticed. Bill Clinton. So we had pictures of Bill Clinton. I'm going to read you one. Ese metió con Mónica and all that. Y que estaba con un puro de la mano. They wanted to talk about Bill Clinton. I chose one. There's a lot of them. Allá en la Plaza Blanca, cuando surgió el presidente Bill Clinton con moto, la prensa lo publicó como un gran proyecto y la basura puso momentos de coche. Déjame yo. Dando al presidente a la casa muy bien vestida, con su minifalda corta, sus largos besos blancos que ella muy bien. Se volvió loco de amor y muy fácil se entregó. Feliz se fue con los hijos, con subir y declaró. Este día es el primero que se ha ido sin pelea, pues me gusta. Mío, aunque estoy un poco feo. Pero era tan sinvergüenza que le fue a la persona. So then we had the 20 years of Calaveras, you know, and then Tony Sanchez ran for governor. I was hoping Jose Castillo from California. Sometimes he joins us, right? Roxanne, we've had, he's also a dentist, and of course it's 2 hours difference. And he said, it's only 4 o'clock, but I had to stop my practice, but I wanted to put you, you know, in here, but I don't see him. I don't see that he's there. If not, and yeah, he wrote I had 3 for Tony Sanchez. One by Jose Carlos Castillo, who's now dentist. Heathcliff Lopez, who is in San Antonio or Austin, I'm not sure. And Yair Diaz. And I had several others. Well, you know, and of course that was the front page for 19, ya ni sé qué año, huh? But we are getting late, and now I'm going to ask my wife to come. So they're ready. These are some of my students. I didn't put all their names. I have some more, but we're going to start with Chris Soto, then Ileana Hinojosa, Albino Gutierrez. Come over here, the ones that are somebody wants to read their own. Chris Soto. She is now a teacher at United South High School. And she's one of the regulars. She's come every time and she brings her students. And I cannot be, I'm so appreciative of it. So now it's my students teaching. Yes, you read lo que tú quieras. Octavio, the mic is yours. You go.
Thank you. You go, girl. Oye, hoy, derechito, derechito, ahora ya se no sale para acá. Bailando en el diván. Remember, tomó ventaja de la noche. Bailando siguieron los dos. Como a la una, ya por el puente donde ella le dio with pretty
Oh, shit.
with Rita Urquijo. And 14 of us, 15 of us. And so they had a here's my point. Estaban haciendo el valiente para luego oyó un y se le apareció y dijo, pásame tu machete, no te creas el gran maestro. El valiente respondió diciendo, no, mi nombre no es Tato. Se puso en su libertad. Le dijo él, oye, ¿por qué no buscas a Tato? Respondió la flaca, porque a él no le toca. Corrió el valiente muy rápido su troca. La flaca dijo ella, no, Tato, como lo siento. Ya te toca llevarme conmigo. Yo soy tu más gran amigo. A ese momento se abrió y gritó, Dios, fuera. Tacho no ganó. Su machete no le ayudó.
Liliana, my editor for my 15th year, and supervisor for the LISD bilingual program.
Yes. Buenas tardes, ¿me escuchan? Bueno. Así está bien,
No, pero,
¿me escuchan?
pero para que oigan los detalles.
Ok. Buenas tardes. Yo me acordaba de la leche. Así conocí a Rogelio Ramos, es actor. Sí, en este tiempo era el que daba los deportes. En KGNS, pero luego lo conocí en San Niño y aquí anuncios y ahora es actor. que lo vea a ver si me hago como bueno, anyway. A lo mejor lo conocen.
Él hizo
Sí,
y
y
ha salido en, ¿cómo se llama? Sex and the City.
Sí.
Salió y en otra. Sí, sí, que tiene sobre el color.
Ay, bueno, le dice con
Le
mucho
hicimos
cariño que
calavera.
cuando estaba en la preparatoria estaba súper enamorada de él y así que le hicimos una calavera. Bueno, Rogelio Ramos por servidora y Diana Hinojosa. En ese tiempo, ahora soy Molina también. Pobrecito de Rogelio Ramos, ya no está donde ahora estamos, pues la flaca de él se enamoró cuando en la televisión lo vio. La flaca se le presentó y sin pensar le preguntó, ¿qué haces aquí solito? Si conmigo puedes estar bien acompañadito. Rogelio se asustó y tartamudeando contestó, no me lleves todavía, los deportes, ¿quién los diría? A la flaca no le importó y como quiera se lo llevó. Y Rogelio ahora en el panteón es de los deportes el campeón.
Sí, Albino hace mucho que no lo vi. Albino, me encontré una que le había escrito a Minita Ramírez, ahora la presidenta de, bueno, y es maestro en Cigarroa.
He's a teacher at Cigarro at Alma Mater.
Sí, sí, ahí estamos ahorita de maestros de matemáticas, no de español, aunque tenemos el minor en Spanish, no me sueltan, matemáticas es muy querido y no te quieren soltar, ¿verdad? So, una cosa que sí me quiero acordar mucho de mi Adriano, que está aquí presente, es que siempre nos decía, y esa era su frase, no lo ha dicho, yo soy casi perfecto. Y dice porque no hay nadie que sea perfecto. Sí, pero siempre le decía, ese era su frase. Pero me encantaba. Mi poema no es una A, ¿verdad? Una de las veces que era el mejor estudiante en español, pero traté de mejorar. Pero vamos a tratar. Minita Ramírez en ese entonces era mi maestra de gobierno, de government teacher. Eso voy a dar el poema que la calaca que dijo en ese entonces, Calavera. Para Minita Ramírez de Albino Gutiérrez, servidor. Estaba Minita Ramírez en clase de gobierno impartiendo, de repente alguien a su puerta toca. Abre la puerta, Minita, que vengo por ti, loca. Minita llena de pavor les dice, por favor, no dejen que la pelona me eche la lona. Vengo de tierras lejanas, a tú me gustas para un ritmo sabroso bailar. Que Celia Cruz y su salsa, que Alejandra Guzmán y su rock. Minita intenta echarse a correr. Esta vieja flaca conmigo no ha de poder. Del gran salto que da Minita, queda muerta ya y sus alumnos tristes. Minita con la calaca en el panteón está, bailando sin descansar y todos sus muertitos gritan sin parar. En 1900. Hace 31 años.
Muchas gracias, Albino. It's so nice to have you here, and you forgot that I'm almost perfect. I also told you I was the queen or the president. Aquí mando yo. Soy la reina. Aquí no mando chicharrones truenos. We had to keep discipline, but we had a lot of fun. Yo tenía una calaca, se llamaba Clementina. I dressed her as a quinceañera. That the biology department gave it to me because somebody took the hand off or something. Que no le quitaron una mano, so they were going to throw it. And I said, no, don't throw it, give it to me. And I had in my classroom for years. So la calavera dressed as a quinceañera. And one Ángeles Borrego, que es mi hija, an actual quinceañera dress. And from Ángeles Borrego, I think it was. And I'm asking for volunteers. Armando Lopez, I see you here. So you are also a volunteer if you want to. Okay? In the little while. Now it's Gaby Pantoja.
Gonzalez, the chef, he's a fantastic chef. And I got all her brothers and sisters, she's going to read one that her brother wrote.
Oh, and you know what? Here. Hello, Miss, oh, hello. Yeah. Aquí la tenía. Ángeles Pantoja por Felipe Pantoja. Those are her brother, her sister, and I couldn't find one about her, but because it's so hard to find. But I'll leer.
Buenas noches. Empezamos. Por Felipe. Ángeles Pantoja, una buena internacional a la respeta. Solo una persona pues planeó un plan grande para llevarse la calaca le retó. Meta, que fue la primera. La parte le dijo, pues no cruzaste la orgulloso de su sangre, a la muerte no espero, con semblante sereno, al panteón se encaminó. Con su voz valiente y simple, si me has de matar mañana, ahorita me muero yo. Lo cierto es que los toros en el mundo y los dejen, ojalá y hayan aprendido las cosas que yo enseñé. Las calacas muy contentas, un collar, cuidado, al panteón un remoto por Cortázar, la acompañaron en solemne procesión. Dice, ya no descansa como lo hace en el más allá por ciento en español. Gracias.
Also teacher, right? Tell us
Yes,
what.
Rio
Rio Bravo.
Ajá.
What do
Y
you teach?
enseño matemáticas y enseño hilo.
And I see my math teacher there, my friend Rosalinda Riazola. Hi.
Our
Yes,
teacher.
our teacher from Cigarroa High School. Back in
Buenas
the day.
noches. Yo escribí hace casi 30 y tantos años, no decir los tantos, una poesía que se llama Los solteritos de Cigarroa. Dice, a la escuela Cigarroa, la número 1 en Laredo, se fue la pelona un día a buscar un buen marido. Al primero que divisa es a un tal Jacinto Castro, que estaba dando clase con su tremenda sonrisa. Estás muy bueno, papacito. ¿No quieres venir conmigo? Anda, di que sí, Jacinto. ¿No quieres ser mi domingo? Llegó y vio a Mr. Snyder y que enseñaba Latin y CNA. Ay, Carlitos, chaparrito, ¿por qué estás tan güerito? Y el güerito le contestó, me dicen que de ti, tuya. La pelona respondió, soy toda tuya. Después vio a Mr. Rico, que era un buen chico. Anda, José, enséñame geometría para no ponerme amarilla. José se asustó bastante con, ¿qué dice? Perdón, con esta calavera estudiante, pues nomás eso le faltaba, que lo llevase a su morada. Después vio a Alberto Guerra y el gusto se le notó. Al instante pensó, a este me lo llevo yo. Que ahora está enseñando a la calaca la álgebra y hasta los aeróbicos extra le está dando. Y ahora la pobre pelona muy arrepentida está, pues sigue sin decidirse y los tiene a los 4 allá.
Era Mr. Senel. Snyder era Castano. Era Senel. Mando, you want to say? Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't put. Yeah, well, you come then when we have. Then
Anybody else from Cigarroa? Like, you know, these, Chris Soto was, Diana always here. Chris Soto has not missed one of my, so, and with her students. So that's very nice. Now we're going to get to the good part. Let's see. Oh, Sari de la Fuente joined us from Dallas, but I don't see her. She was supposed to say Sari de la Fuente. She wrote this from Mark McGuire. This was the Calavera was very important. Mark McGuire was from baseball because he was favorite athlete. And she wanted to get close to her father. It's like a nice story. And she wrote about the athlete that was her father's favorite. And anybody knows Mark McGuire? You do? I have no idea who he is, but he was, but let me read it for Sari de la Fuente. I had Mundo de la Fuente, Ignacio de la Fuente. I had all the la Fuentes. They were all boys and then a girl, Saraí. She's now McCullough. She lives in Dallas. And muy campante estaba el pelotero, pues era el mejor jonronero. Y por eso todo el mundo le honraba, al ver que hasta Roger Maris le ganaba. Por los gritos del estadio el panteón retumbaba. Despertó la huesuda pufando y enojada. Marchó rápidamente a ver con quién se desquitaba y al ver a McGuire bateando se acercó muy ilusionada. El estadio se volvió silencio al ver a la calaca y aprovechando este momento a Mark se llevó la flaca. Está muy buena. And then the newspaper, this is Mr. Parrish, if you remember. He loved our Calaveras. This is like 1980 something. I can see it. And then 97, another, I mean, we had a lot. We would go to the TV. Every year we'd go to KGNS. There's Angeles Pantoja right there. That's the one I recognize, Angeles, with your sister is there. And then we would go to the radio. Coco Garcia, I recognize. Zarate, one of the Zarate girls. Then there's a Patita Ciliani, Viviani Hinojosa there. And we would go, that's Laredo Center for the Arts. And this is front page, Laredo Times. Ahí está Clementina, that's Clementina with a quinceañera dress, and then a hat that Miss Ortegon brought. Ortegon gave her the hat. And as, yes, Sammy Salazar, JJ Solis, who's now the assistant principal at Nixon, the second one, Santiago Loa, and Brandon Marcus, right? There, I still remember that, that's 1996, okay? And so my Calaveras were famous. So now we're gonna start trying to write our own Calavera, if you so desired. Written Calaveras remind us of cartoons we've already seen, you know? We take the most obvious physical traits and satirize them. We poke fun at what they do or say and used to cause the most macabre of deaths. In the Calaveras, the people beg for their lives, as most living creatures do not want to die. But death always wins and takes them away no matter how much they beg or cry. This is to give you ideas of what to write. There is a special vocabulary in Calaveras, and we can do it in English or Spanish. I have it, of course, in Spanish. Lista de palabras, we would always do, remember, lista de palabras? Every week we'd have lista de palabras. These are the ones for the Calaveras. You can use la parca, la muerte, la flaca, calaca. You've heard all of them. Dientona and siriquisiaca, one that Sandra Cavazos likes, siriquisiaca. Adjetivos, we call her mentirosa, engañosa, traicionera, coqueta. And of course, la muerte in Spanish is feminine. So that's why we, call her mentirosa. And why mentirosa? Because seductora. So she has to be like that so she can, get us, for us to, to fall for her. Y los verbos, hasta ahí que murió, falleció, etc. We try to be cute and use petateó, el petate, eso es muy mexicano. Colgó los tenis, estiró la pata, cayó al pozo.
se fue al Cantón, al Capón, etcétera, y más. Y el tono, the tone, siempre es jocoso, siempre es divertido, puede ser satírico, puede ser irónico, ingenioso, burlón, burla fina. Yo, bueno, no bad words. Now, I go to slam poetry, and of course, this is different. It's different. They're adults. They can use bad words. But in high school, I'd say no, burlón, burla fina. It takes, more ingenious to be funny without bad words. So I did not permit bad words. How do you get students to read Calaveras? We read. That's how you get to write anything. Poems or prose. You analyze poem as far as form and content. I told you versos octosílabos con rimas pareadas, that form and content, of course, is the death. Analyze vocabulary. We've done a little bit of that. And what characteristics, we've done this already. So where does she take the victim, etc. And above all, have fun with Calaveras, be clever, work in groups. Here we will not have time to work in groups, just by ourselves. So let's write a calavera fronteriza. Are you ready to write a calavera fronteriza? If you want so. If you want to. I have some journals in the back. Okay. We didn't bring any. Okay. In case you want to. So, have to. You can just listen, and then, but there will be a lot of people that will come and write and read them to you. Okay, choose a subject you would like to write about. The border area, we are talking about the border area, but you don't have to. The border wall, the immigration, asylum, the Rio Grande, something like that, but you don't have to. And persons from the border area, the persons from here, or it can be a politician, a well-known member of the community, a journalist, or a TV personality. I remember my students, they used to love to write about heat wave burn. They liked heat wave for some reason. Calaveras are like cartoons, we've already said. We take the most obvious traits and depict them in a humorous way. We can use the special vocabulary we have studied before. Questions, any questions before I'm going to give you 10 minutes. It's exactly 7. Ooh, we were such in time. Exactly 7. And we're going to give you 10 minutes if you would like to write. And in 10 minutes, we'll come back. But if you don't want to write, we are going to have to want to write something. Okay? Question. What? No. Most people are, don't worry. I mean, there's just 4 lines, 4. We saw some very short, 4, 8 lines, and that's it. Yeah, you don't have to write. Some of them didn't write. The ones that they write, some of them didn't write. But they have a little sing song. Acuérdate Camelia la Tejana, los Tigres del Norte. That gives you ideas of what the rhythm to take. No. Okay. So are you ready to start? Because we're going to give you 10 minutes. We're starting right now. 10 minutes. Then we'll call for volunteers. Do we put stuff?
Or if you want to read to us, also, if you have written a calavera for us, you can sign up with Roxanne. Tell her. Thank you.
Luis Manuel, pásale. Where are you coming from? Oh, you're from San Diego. Yes, yes. Very good. Thank you, Ms. Vargas.
Thank you.
Pase en tu casa.
Good evening, everyone. Allá, entré la gorra. Pues traigo el peinado de que me nominó. Bueno. Well, we wrote this calaverita. It's not exactly fronteriza, but it's in kind of Spanish. Funny. We wrote one. Is La Calaca en el Bruno Vergara. The name of our flag, también la Bruno Vergara. I'm gonna say, okay. Estábamos todos juntitos en clase en el Bruno Vergara. Luego arribó la Calaca, queriendo que alguien la guiara. Where is the English classroom? La Calaca nos preguntó. It is here, but you cannot enter. Se lo negamos porque nos espantó. Okay. Sorry. La Calaca tomó uno de nosotros, porque por todo se enfureció. Betty fue la certuda que a la Calaca no acarició. Luisito fue el más sanado, a la Calaca más miró. Ya que él se enamoró y se le llevó un suspiro. Goodbye forever, Luisito. Ya te vas con la Calaca. Muy enamorada de ti está, contigo se quedó alocada.
Despégate. No, Mando López. Thank you, Ms. Mando, thank you so much for always being here with us. Also, he's one of the lawyers here. I always tell him he's a lawyer by profession, by a poet by heart. Or he's a great poet. He's a great poet. Thank you for being always with us.
I'm going to read two short ones. Maria went to Laredo Border Slam years ago because she needed to have calaveras in English because the abuelos didn't understand Spanish or Tex-Mex or whatever. And so we wrote a few for her. And so I write them in English now because it takes me a while. If I'm going to have 10 minutes, it takes me a while. So in English, this is called irony. Jerry Jones is a happy soul. His Cowboys are winning games. He has dreams of a Super Bowl, future Hall of Fame. Laka loves this time. Irony is such a fickle thing. She writes this pretty rhyme. Take him. Jerry will cry and ask her this. Why did you take me this great year? He'll say your money won't buy you this. Heaven. Must be hell like that. And then this one is we lost a poet from our group, and we had a little tribute for him. So, the Calaca part of it, they always say too soon, but not in Laredo Border Slam. In Laredo Border Slam, so we had a slam. We talked about him and different things like that. So let me read this one. It's a homenaje, but so I shortened my homenaje to yeah. Oh, let me see if I can find it. No, I should have found it. No, it's okay. No, just to close this out. In Laredo Bordersland, there's 2 rounds. And your poet laureate on her first try up there won first place and made the final. Yeah. I should say our poet laureate, right?
Handle it on our road. Because you go there.
Yeah, I was happy. She was, it was the first time I was the youngest, not the oldest person there. Okay, so our friend, name was Bert Mara- If any of you went to Tacolare, McPherson, he used to be behind the register. And so we got to write, you get to do 2 poems if you. And so the first poem I wrote was about Bert, and I ended with he had a really bizarre sense of humor. And so the last thing he told me, I saw him Saturday and he passed away on Monday. And but the last thing I told him was, "Hey Bert, you probably see a lot of interesting people here." And he said, "Yeah. The other day, some political candidate came in here, and all I can tell you is I've never seen a man wear pants so tight." So that's how I ended his poem. So that was the first round. If you don't make the second round, you don't get to read your second poem. So I wrote this and I condensed it to the más o menos to the syllables, but not the rhyme. I didn't think I would make the final. Miss B, our jefa, invited poets from San Antonio. I knew they would kill it. Like letter H, bien preparado. Did you get that one?
Yeah.
That was Bert's sense of humor, preparation H. I didn't think I would make the final. I am too sad about Bert passing away. I have that grief atorado. I want to be in denial. I didn't think I would make the finals. Miss B told me he'll be here. So I wrote what I felt without worry. Just put it out there, don't hold it in. Le gustaba la lucha libre y la música del punk. Era skateboarder con ganas y bien camarada de. I didn't think I would make the finals. Like him, we should just write. If you're hearing this, I did. Miss B was right. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's, of course, it's an homenaje. Calaveras, yes, yes, no, pero Calaveras are for the living, no, just. He's still living for you, yes, like in, Coco, I said. Can I remember? Yes, that was the. Now, who's next? Payan, Nepal. Payan, are you from? You also? You Les Vargas. Roxanne Padilla, María Partida Solís, pero primero, Dayan. Silvia Vargas salía.
Well, this Calavera, Calavera. ¿Qué día será la primera? Eventualmente, la parte todo el mundo llorará, sin importar si uno es granuja o dadivoso. Sin importar si vas al cielo o a Valhalla, por tus actos condenados tú serás, pórtate bien o pórtate mal, la calaca lo sabrás. No hay forma de escaparte por más que tú te quieras quedar. La huesada vendrá y un fuerte abrazo te dará.
Gracias. Thank you, Chayanne. Roxanne Padilla, Ruth Confian, Roxanne Padilla, Ruth Confian over here already. So we'll take a little bit less time. And Ileana, well, you're here. Okay, Roxanne, thank you. Thank you for, you're the one that took them.
La muerte acaba de un día. Ella realizó que al final la plata va a venir por ella.
Por eso él hizo parte de la misma. Porque un día la calaca se va a burlar de él. Okay. Thank you, Roxana. Todos nos llegan. Ruth, Santiago, and then Ileana and Patricia. Good afternoon to everyone. The reason that I'm here is because my dear friend invited me. Since I don't have time to read the newspaper because I'm very busy, she called me and told me, do you want to go? Because I know you like poetry. I said, yeah. She said, Rosa Maria. She said, I said, really? Because they told me before that they confused me with her. I said, how can they confuse me? She's so beautiful. And that's why I was like, yeah, that's why. Okay. So right now, thank you. I wrote this still on the spur of the moment, so have a perfect time. I'm gonna try my best. 10 minutes. Okay, thank you so much. Okay. All right. So this one is called Azucena. So my friend Azucena. And she told me not to read it, but I'm going to read it anyway. Allí estaba Azucena, muy calladita, comiendo su cena. De repente se asoma a la linda flaquita, con una corona. Dice, hola, te veo comiendo, dragona. Esa chuchi de película. Ya es tu tiempo. Ah, no, a mí no me llevas, dijo la pobre Azucena. La flaquita con estribas, pronto la jaló y al hondo pozo se la llevó. I hope not. Okay. And this one named Rosa María, las Calaveras y la Calaca. So here it goes. A la biblioteca vino la Calaca. Ahí estaba Rosa María con el tema de las calaveras. Todas muy apresuradas, porque solo tenía 10 minutos para escribir calaveras y poemas. Le dijo la flaquita, vamos ya, Rosa María. Pero le contestó que no quería. Ave querida, yo no quería. Llevarte conmigo, querida. Rosa María contestó, no me gusta esto. La flaquita le dijo, sorry, hermosa, pero ya es tiempo. Y la aventó en una fosa.
Creo que sí. Aquí le dedicamos una rapidito a María Emiliano.
Ya es tiempo, Rosa, de gritó desde el punto. Necesito una maestra, no solo coqueta, pero poeta. Tú lo tienes todo fuera, libros y poemas, pero sobre todo eres la más disfrutera. Cuentos, historias y calaveras nos hacen falta en este lado. Los alumnos juegan en una buena maestra o un legado. We still have 30 minutes. We have Patricia, there's Maria Partida, then Solís, I can see Andrea Solís, okay, I can see. And then Sylvia. Come over here, all of those that are going to read, so, because we only have, ya nos están corriendo, we only have 2 minutes. Okay, thank you so much for participating. Eliana, Patricia, you're next. Sí, sí, Patricia. No, ya leyó Eliana.
Pero Ruth,
Ya leyó Ruth, ya. Hola, güera. Y Eliana y Patricia, María Partida y después Andrea. Después, okay. Patricia, tú sigues.
Mi amiga linda.
thank you. Los versos de la poet laureate retumbaban in the night, dedicados a la muerte, apuntando al casajo of great rhythm and some wine. La calaca, like a Dutch, he would listen to her words. Esta placa no reniega si analiza, however, has other plans. Y se la quiere cargar. La poeta is a great poet. Has a plan, una ilusión de despojarnos de fiel con uvas, pan, and some wine. Con uvas, pan, some ham. Un versito, some reflections with no reasons and some truth.
Gracias, amiga. Ella, la dueña de Spanglish, read her articles. She writes every Saturday in the Laredo Times. I recommend you read the articles about the Spanglish in Laredo. And tells you all about regional dialect. Very interesting. And now we have Maria Pancita. Thank you for participating, Maria.
Para que te vean los ellos.
Hola, muy buenas noches. Yo creo que es la calavera más cortita que hay. Pero es un intento. Yo creo la última vez que así es. Bueno, dice, en nuestro río bravo, la muerte aparece. Viajeros a pie, cargan sus sueños.
Muchas gracias. La que sigue, Andrea. Andrea.
Está mi, oh, de Alex.
Lady Bulldog. Thank you.
Clarina, she loved to dance. Bring the music in her ears, years, but after so much pain, felt her ankles strain. One day after the performance, her resistance, she felt the tequila hit, thinking maybe I should quit. La muerte said it might be hit. Maybe just a few more drinks. And you'll be walking home, going clank clank, going on that ship is in
Muy bien. Nice to find that. Okay, and Sylvia Vargas, thank you, our loyal participant also from Alexander, Spanish teacher from Alexander, and English teacher at Babby U. Good job. Well, just to tell you that I was so very thankful to Rosemary and I did ask my Alexander students to come down, but then they were very shy. And I was not able to convince them, but then having the students here, so I don't know if you noticed, but I have my Alexander teacher at the beginning, and then I have to switch and go to Tommy U. But then another thing that I just found out is that I just saw one of my teachers, me, myself, and I from working high school, and that was Miss Azucena Palacio. She used to be one of my teachers so many years ago, and I was telling Miss Roxana, so does she know? If she remembers that we just called it. You haven't changed them, you're still the same. Igualita, igualita. Okay, this is a calavera para los Bulldogs de Alexander. Estaban los Alexander Bulldogs aprendiendo por las mañanas que la profe con dedicación enseñaba sin esperar un asalto con miles pasiones de la calaca rumbera. La Catrina comenzó a darles de gritos y todos se pararon espantados. Haciendo un lockdown al suelo, quedaron los butos como esqueletitos, esperando a Sandoval para que fueran salvados. Ahora gozan felices en el cementerio, ¿cierto? Ahora gozan felices en el cementerio. Prefirieron retirarse en gran misterio, comiendo deliciosos animales, los bultos ganadores celestiales al camposanto. Fueron, cuando de esperar realmente se murieron, habiendo hecho un trabajo genial y muy serio. No te vayas, la quita, mejor vente, acompañarnos. Le dijeron a los engordar comiendo.
Pero la lugar de Flacucha entró por la oficina primero y dejó como quedó a la administración completa sin lucha, porque debieron ser los pioneros. Y ahora dentro del lockdown se encuentran esperanzados a que resuciten los muertos que la calaca y dejar de ser eternamente condenados porque no quieren estar en el suelo solamente tirados. Esos fueron los bulldogs. Si no me linchan los Dust Devils. And these are for the Dust Devils. Estaban los dos Dust Devils inquietos, willing to learn ESL, pero vieron a la calaca mocking and yelling at them. Formaditos se acercaron para contarles los dientes, but they noticed she was toothless and began sarcastically bullying her. ¿Qué creíste, gran flaquita? That you were going to kill us all? That you were going to bury us all alive? Dándonos tu cafecito de olla con cremita. Pues te equivocas, Katrina. Desaparece de la vida y mantente lejos en la China. Because we the Dust Devils, our champions, have preferred you away in isolation and with no companion. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Always come. Loyal. Thank you, everybody who saw us through WebEx. Thank you, students. Thank you, friends. Thank you. Oh, one more. We have one more. Come on. Come on, press up on my student. My loyal, participant also. We have one more. Okay. Es lo que me gusta.
This is for Roxy.
Hi, Roxy.
Roxy. Cada mes se le urgía a la poeta Laureate para presentar las poesías graciosas. Se le atoró el jueves. Grita ella, Roxana, corre para acá, no veo al compadre. Corriendo viene Roxana la fiel, con su astuta mente de tecnología. Los sonidos cerraban la biblioteca, la biblioteca. Era la calaca hablando. No, puede ser en este momento. Están los alumnos presentando. Roxana corrió hacia. Oye, te voy a pasar la placa. No me puedes llevar todavía. El WebEx, entonces, yo conozco la placa muy astuta fue, dijo, sabes, Roxana, que te quiero dar chance, pero tú tienes esperanza. Tu tiempo ha llegado para terminar en este lado. A este momento se abrió el WebEx y ahí se fue nuestra Roxana.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. And you had fun. And that was the whole purpose of Calaveras. To have fun and learn. We learned so much. We learned to divide in syllables because you want to have a verse, of those syllables, they have to be 8 syllables, but there's also finales. Muchas otras. That I'm not. We learned so much and we had so much fun. We have, I would like to present mine. Yes, Clarissa. Oh my goodness, yes. Clarissa Guzman. Okay, request unmute. Yes. Okay, Clarissa, can you hear us?
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Okay.
You can hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So the title of my calavera is called Spoiled. Estas personas famosas, y todos dicen a estas personas babosas, unos que son consentidos y se ponen feos vestidos. These people eat so picky, like if their food is sticky, eating salads to be healthy, like if that'll make them wealthy. Por favor, alguien llama a la Llorona, porque I know estas personas. Pero la muerte es algo que quieren escapar, y cuando escapen pueden cantar. The flowers will begin to bloom and fill up a festive room. But how, with all conflicts of being rich, honestly, that gives them an itch.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Clarissa. We just found out you're Miss Sylvia Vargas, student from Alexander High School. Thank you, Alexander High School. You're present. Okay, yes, hold on. Thank you. And with this, we conclude unless somebody else wants to tell us a calavera or read us a calavera. Oh, pues Soto, I'm sorry. Oh, no, it's not. Well, SUISD. Sorry, it was not a bulldog. It's a United South Panther. Yes, yes. Sorry. Okay, that's it. Buenas noches. Muchas gracias a todos. Muchas gracias.